testing. If I'm lucky, I'm getting audio. And I think I am. But I have Bluetooth headsets and 2 patch cords. One didn't seem to work. This one works. A bunch of cameras. So we'll have at it. Oh, okay, that's good. Temperature's almost in range. Fuel is half. A little more than that when you level off. Fuel is on. Mag check. 1 good. 2 good. Flaps are down. 23, that's good for takeoff. That's 5 feet, that's good for ground. AGL set. We're ready to go. Warm up just a few more seconds. And the mission today, there is no mission. Really, I'm just going to go around the pattern. And get an idea of how long it takes to take off, but we already know that. A couple hundred feet it's in the air. Probably under 200, easy enough. Nobody's in the pattern. Nobody's on final. Just make sure we got it pointed down the runway. $7,800. Nose is up. Temperature's good. RPM is good. Ball is centered. .500 feet a minute climb at almost 50 miles an hour. And 200 feet. They'll level off at 500 feet. And 60 miles an hour at 7,000 RPM. Let's go down to about 6,500. Still going 60. Let's slow it down to about 6,000. And now at 6,000 we are going 55. Maintain level flight at 6,000, 55 miles an hour. Oh, just for fun, we'll take it down to idle. So there's idle, and we're still going 55. At about 300 feet a minute. So we'll put in some flaps. Slow it down to 50. He wants to stay up here. Oh, it's 50 miles an hour, full flaps, 400 feet a minute. Let's see how long we can hold it off. Oh, we were at the low 30s. That's about the smoothest landing I've ever done. I could barely tell I was on the ground. I'm glad I got that on film, because that doesn't happen that often. Okay, let's go try that again. So my tail wheel does no steering, that's not functioning. So I'm steering by independent braking. The rudder's not all that effective at these slow speeds. I have a customer here, 2 customers spectating. They give me a thumbs up. And I have to do S-turns to make sure there's nobody on the taxiway. Constantly checking the pattern. Now we'll go back to half flaps for takeoff. I could have easily done a touch and go, of course, but I'd rather have all the runway. So ready for off again. So full power, lift the tail, get to 32 miles an hour, a couple miles an hour above stall, and it'll be fine. So the 2-stroke is so peaky that, it's 5,000 here is idle. There's 4,000 is nothing, 5,000 is nothing, 6,000 is probably 30%. You have to get to 7,000, and then all of a sudden it really kicks in. So that's the nature of 2-strokes. That's why I think even that takes 6,000 to stay in the air according to the power curve. That's still maybe 10 kilowatts of power. Well, here we go. That's a pretty good 500 feet a minute. The temperature is really low, it's just barely in the operating. And we're at 8,000 RPM, which is, I think it's 8,500 is red line, so we're not even max power. But that helps give us a good cruise. So flaps up. And we'll do a 7,000 RPM. And at zero climb, level flight, we're at 63 miles an hour, 65 miles an hour. Pretty much the limit of Part 103. So this aircraft fits right in the Part 103 box absolutely perfectly. Notice I never had to use the trim. So I guess I have to trim up a little bit, but it trims out perfectly. Maybe down a little bit. Look at that. Perfectly trimmed. Ball to center. What a nice flying airplane. Now we're just going to back. Cut the power to idle. And it doesn't drop. That's the sailplane part. Look at that. It's just like floating along. Now we're on short final. And we're going to need flaps. We're only 330 feet up. We're going to need full flaps or we're going to just float. So I'm only at 300 feet a minute drop. I'm going to try and get it down a little bit. That's all right. I don't mind floating. Just stop the sink rate a little bit. And once again, I'm going to hold it off as long as I can. Stick all the way back, 30 miles an hour. Oops, I hit the throttle. That didn't matter. It was a 30 mile an hour landing. And I bumped the throttle, which kind of screwed things up. But other than that, it shows how slow I can get. Now there's pretty much no wind. So later on we'll look at the GPS matrix, and that'll give us the ground speed. That'll confirm the airspeed. You know, with the tail dragger, with the landing gear, the tail stops, minimizes the angle of attack you can get. So if I can get down to 30 and the tail is already on the ground, that means I just need 2 more miles an hour, and I'm not even stalled. So getting down 2 more miles an hour to the Part 103 limit of 28.3 miles per hour, which I believe it is, that's a given. That's a simple matter of just going and doing it. The test is with a 170-pound pilot, which is pretty much what I am, and full fuel, which is, I mean, it's another 2 gallons. That's insignificant. So there's no question about this meeting the stall speed and the top speed and all the parameters. Depends on, of course, it depends on your options, because most people are going to go a little bit over with if they put a bunch of options on. But that was a nice flight. Now we will go do a briefing. Signing off here. Turn that camera off. And it won't have the extra weight and drag of the DEP. We'll get around to testing that with the next military contract. And we also have the electric motor and the controller, and we're working on the battery packs, and we'll be building the engine mount, or the motor mount, and the battery packs, and getting that ready. And the floats are done. So lots going on with the Merlin Lite. It'll be pretty exciting, and our target is to get these 2 aircraft, maybe even 3 of them, plus a Merlin, to the Sun and Fun in April. And that's a bit ambitious. We got to finish making them and testing them, and then we have to ship them over. But we're going to be busting our butts to do it. Chip Irwin, Aero Marine, South Lakeland Airport, signing off.